Hi guys, and welcome back to a brand new series. Here are my top 5 nations on the overkill map, which are landlocked. First off is Chad. As you can see here, Chad has got so many different neighbours on its borders. I think it's got 7 in total. You've got Libya to the north, the Sudan's out on the east, Nigeria and Cameroon on sort of the west, and then potentially Congo to the south. So basically, if you're an aggressive player, Chad is like the perfect nation to start off with because you can basically attack in all directions. You're also located next to a VP site, which again, for an early start, that can really boost you up if you can grab that VP site. Diplomacy probably is needed being Chad with having so many neighbours. Potentially you've got a lot of enemies as well. So if you can get the Sudans on your side, that would be great because then you won't have to worry about your east coast and you can focus fully on the west. Take out Nigeria, grab that VP site, and you've got yourself a great little startup all within probably the first week, especially if you've got the recon vehicle start, or potentially choppers, because choppers can potentially get into Nigeria depending on where you put your airfield. So yeah, I probably would recommend getting tanks as well, because obviously being in the desert, the tanks get a nice bonus. So yeah, you got multiple choices here, which is a great start. My number 4 is Bolivia, another 5-city nation. This one hasn't got as many neighbours as Chad, but still great early expansion potential. Obviously they've got Brazil to the north, Peru obviously to the northwest, and then you've got Chile, Argentina and Paraguay all to the south. Now usually Chile and Argentina fight it out, so you don't really have to worry about those nations to start with. So potentially I would say go towards Paraguay. It's only a 5-city nation as well, so if you can grab those 5 cities, that literally doubles your cities within the first few days if you can do an early attack. Brazil doesn't usually focus too much on Bolivia to start with. Obviously it's got Uruguay and Paraguay on its borders, so it usually or potentially comes up north to Venezuela. Colombia usually battles with Venezuela as well, and then they all focus towards Ecuador because that is where the VP site is, so everyone kind of floods towards Ecuador. So yeah, if you're Ecuador, get prepared to be invaded super quick, because that's usually what happens, especially with Peru as well being a 7-city nation right on its doorstep. So Bolivia is another great choice to have as a landlocked nation with early expansion. Again, you can go with recon vehicles, potentially choppers, although they are a bit more spread out in South America, so I'd probably stick to the recon vehicle, start with these guys, and head into Paraguay. Number 3 on my list, Austria. This is the first of the 6-city nations and the first European nation as well. Great position in Central Europe. Again, got multiple neighbours to invade. You've got a couple of 5-city nations in Czechoslovakia and Hungary, so that's a great start to get some early expansion. You've also got Balkan Union to your south, which potentially could be an issue, but usually Balkan Union heads east. Italy is also south, which again is another strong neighbour, which they're usually the top one that goes in after Austria, because obviously Austria's right next to the VP site along with Italy, so you kind of end up having a battle over the VP site. You have to be careful there. Germany obviously to the north, absolute powerhouse of Europe, but on the overkill map obviously they've got Poland and obviously the new nation of Benelux, so that kind of keeps them a little bit busy and keeps their focus elsewhere rather than on Austria. So again, on here, choppers is a great startup, recon vehicles as well, and even tank destroyers. If you can get the tank destroyers out, with all the amount of cities, the bonuses that tank destroyers have, you can properly tear up people's stacks, especially if they've gone for recon starts. The tank destroyers will eat those recons alive. I've been doing that quite a bit in my recent games, and it's doing absolute wonders for me. So yeah, if you can get the tank destroyers out early enough, probably after day 3, I would have thought, after a round of motorised infantry. Move us now on to the second place, which is Kazakhstan, which I feel is a bit underrated sometimes. I don't really get mentioned that much on videos, or not that I've seen anyway. it's got a massive area to start with, and it's got quite a few neighbours. Obviously, you've got Russia to the north, and then China is kind of on the east and southern part of your territory. But then you've got a cluster of 5 city nations literally south of you, and you've got the VP site as well. Usually China ends up fighting Mongolia anyway, or goes down south and doesn't really attack Kazakhstan to start with, and even takes out the Korean peninsula as well. So I wouldn't worry too much about China early on. With Russia, obviously it looks really bad on the map how big Russia is, but it's actually quite hard playing Russia because you're so spread out, and most of the time Russia usually focuses on Europe because that's where the majority of his cities are located. So yeah, they don't really seem to focus on Kazakhstan early on. They usually take out like Finland and all the Baltic states, whatnot. So early strategy on here, definitely head south. You've got the VP site literally not too far away as well. But yeah, Uzbekistan, Turkmenistan and Kazakhstan, all 5 city nations right on your doorstep. And if you get a great early strategy going here, you can basically bag yourself 15 cities within the first week, possibly 2 weeks, which is a great boost. And obviously you're in a great position, which moves me on to my number 1, which is Afghanistan. Now, Afghanistan, obviously, I've played multiple times. Obviously, I did a series on this as well, and how well that we did as Afghanistan. Again, you've got multiple nations around you, and the main one is probably Pakistan. Just depends on what Pakistan's thinking, because usually it'll either go against India or it'll go against Afghanistan. So you'll have to keep an eye out on what coalitions get formed, because obviously if they form up with India, then potentially you could be the first target for Pakistan. Iran being on your west coast, another big 7-city nation, but usually Iran heads west into the Middle East and sort of takes out Iraq and Syria, so I wouldn't worry too much about Iran. So again, on Afghanistan, you can focus fully up north if you can get good relations with Pakistan and take out these 5 city nations along with the VP site. So yeah, for early strategy here, choppers is a definite, because there's so many cities all grouped together. You can properly eat up the infantry to start with on here. And again, recon vehicles, solid start, potentially tank destroyers, but maybe not on this one. I'd probably stick to choppers and recons for here. So yeah, that'll be my top 5 for my landlocked nations on the overkill map. Please can you leave a comment down below on who you would have picked, or do you agree with any of my choices? I really do appreciate any of the feedback, and I will be doing some more videos and more top 5s on top naval nations and top 5 nations overall, so including all land, air and navy. Again, this is all going to be on the overkill map. So yeah, it's a bit different to like the World War 3 map and Rising Tides. This is my preferred choice. So yeah, please give this video a thumbs up. I really do appreciate it. I love doing the videos for you guys, and just leave me some comments. I really do appreciate all the comments. I don't mind being criticised either, as long as it's constructive. I really do appreciate any feedback at all. So yeah, I think that's the roundup for my top 5, and we will catch you all in the next one. Bye bye now.